Good afternoon to everybody. First of all, I would like to thank C-MAST organizers to give me the opportunity to present my previous experience on graphene nanomaterials for various potential applications. I would like to thank FCT so for supporting my stay at C-MAST, and thank you all for attending this seminar. So I would like to present you today a solution processable multifunctional graphene related materials for different applications, for example energy like organic LEDs and biotissue engineering and fuel cells and regenerative medicine applications. I think you don't need any introduction about about the 2D graphene materials because it is very well known 2D material since 2010, since the Nobel Prize announcement to Professor uh, Andrea Gaim and his co-worker from Manchester, UK. So graphene is the mostly studied and developed to the nanomaterials for different applications because of it has a very high conducting properties and the high surface area and high physical and chemical properties. It has many applications in flexible displays, transistors, and photosensors, solar cells, fuel cells, even energy conversion and storage applications, supercapacitors, and you can find a lot of conductive based inks even for screen printing and 3D printing, as you can see in the images here. So the graphene like membrane material, and here graphene is used in flexible electronics devices, and it's also widely used in polymer nanocomposites, which could be used for many different applications, for example bike helmets or aeronautic applications, and surface coatings, for example, where you need anti-corrosion properties, and also wireless sensors, and there are so many applications based on their properties and the band gap of graphene. There is a huge market and possible investment opportunities globally. As you can see, I mean, last 15 years, there are more than 200 companies started, and still they are growing. Uh, Startup companies, and all most of the companies are trying to increase their production of graphene oxide or reduced graphene oxide type of even monolayer graphene and multilayer graphene materials for LEDs and even for biotransplants. Here you can see the biotransplant on a tooth. So this is you can see the huge the graphene market size in USD uh, from 2020, and it's rapidly growing the global market. Europe, European Commission has spent 1 billion euro since 2010 till 2020 for graphene research for production and characterization and application properties, and there are European Commission also supported a lot of spin-out companies to increase the production production quantity of graphene. So these are a few companies I stated here, which are based in mostly in Europe, like Graphenist. Graphenia is a Spanish company, and Portugal company, Graphene and CO Graphene, Paragraphene. There are more than 200 companies. Here, there are few products which are currently available in the market, even either offline or online, and you can see how graphene is growing in the real product applications. So when it comes to the our academic research, so we have developed graphene oxide layer for as a whole injection layer in organic LED. So here we have prepared graphene oxide out of graphite rocks. So we have used graphite, and we have used a modified Hammers method in order to oxidize graphite and gives graphene oxide. So this is the graphene oxide which has multiple functional groups like hydroxyl groups and COH groups, and these groups makes graphene more solution processable for what different applications where you can deposit the graphene oxide layer on different substrates. Here we have quoted different concentrations of graphene oxide. Yeah. The different concentrations of graphene oxide on ITO substrates. So GO here used as a whole injection layer. So this is the typical electrode structure for organic LEDs. As you can see here, so at the particular concentration like zero point 0.4 milligram per ml graphene oxide coated on ITO, which showed nearly 40,000 luminance at 8.8 volts. So when you compare with the neat ITO, so which is nearly more than 30 times higher luminance in the presence of graphene oxide as a whole injection layer. So I will present you some tissue engineering applications in regenerative medicine. For that, so we have modified graphene oxide with different functional groups. For example, RGD. So RGD is a amino acid peptide sequence. For example, with glycine, arginine, glycine, aspartic acid, serine, proline. So this is the typical sequence is called RGD peptide. So we have attached graphene oxide covalently on RGD peptide to covalently to graphene oxide uh, layers, and by using some little chemistry, and you can see here the solubility of RGD peptide functionalized graphene oxide. So here it is the PCl in chloroform and graphene oxide in chloroform, and PCl plus graphene oxide in chloroform, and this is a ZIVO RGD, uh, and the next is PCl plus ZIVO RGD. So you can see how the clarity of the solution of PCl and the graphene oxide. So this a little functionality of graphene oxide, so it improves its solution processability a lot. And these solutions were electrospun in order to get a nanofiber mats with graphene oxide and different functional group functionalized graphene oxide with at different loadings like 0.5%, 1%, and 2%. And here you can see some electrical conductivity characterization of this nanofiber mats. So these are micro Siemens level, but this conductivity, the electrical conductivity is sufficient for biological cells in order to communicate and grow on these mats. As you can see, the cell culture of human osteoblast cell studies with the different stainings like MDTSA and ALP activity and Algerian red staining. So as you can see, the RGD peptide functionalized graphene oxide and the PCl nanofiber mats, which has shown very high cells growth in all the samples. Here, different set of matrix and PVA and reduced graphene oxide nanomats. So we have prepared with only 0.5 weight% of RGO and 1 weight% of RGO. So here you have the similar cell culture studies. So here you can see that 1 weight% RGO which shown very high cells growth even with the different steinings. PEM for proton exchange membrane fuel cells. So here we have used graphene sheets, functionalized graphene sheets as a catalyst support uh, for platinum nanoparticles. So in order to improve the electrochemistry for fuel cells applications. So here this is the typical structure of fuel cells electrodes. So here this is called gas diffusion electrode. So in gas diffusion electrode, there is a maybe I can go further. So this gas diffusion electrode, which has a gas diffusion layer, which is carbon cloth or carbon fiber, and there is a catalyst support which is typically carbon black as a catalyst support, and then catalyst which is platinum nanoparticles is why is used as the catalyst. So here there are different types of carbon blacks like Volcan, XC, and Ketgen black and conductors. So all these varieties, so the mostly used carbon black as a catalyst support is Vulcan and Aztlan black and Kedzen black. So these are widely used as a catalyst support materials as a traditional methods. We have developed some functionalization methods with to graphene with the covalent functionalization, and after this functionalization we deposited platinum nanoparticles to anchor the metal nanoparticles to the graphene sheets. Here are the TEM images of platinum nanoparticles deposited on graphene oxide and RGD functional graphene oxide, and graphene oxide and polypyrrole carbon black is a hybrid material, and multifunctional graphene oxide like with graphene oxide is functionalized with fluorosilane and RGD and fluorosilane and thio groups, and the final one is the platinum deposition on graphene oxide graphene monolayer using atomic layer deposition method. So in more or less in all these images, the nano typically the platinum nanoparticle size is around 4 nanometer, and we have analyzed these materials through electrochemistry, cyclic altimetry curves. So we have extracted the electrochemical active surface area, which is 147 for platinum on platinum nanoparticles on RGD functionalized graphene oxide. So which is the highest we have got it among all the functionalized graphene oxide. This is the typical setup for a single cell fuel cell testing. So this is as you can see in the inset. So this is the carbon fiber, carbon paper, and we have deposited graphene ink, graphene and platinum nanoparticles with the Nofian ink deposited on the carbon paper, and this one is and we have used Nofian membrane in between as a proton exchange membrane, and we have tested single cell fuel cells. As you can see, the maximum power density which we have obtained is 530 for RGD functionalized graphene oxide, and 722 for hybrid material with graphene oxide and polypyrrole and carbon black. Because I mean the main difference here The polypyrrole is the connecting polymer, and polypyrrole has more nitrogen groups. So these nitrogen groups always act as a ligand with metal nanoparticles. Maybe that could be the reason we could see the maximum power density for the hybrid material, and even for RGD functionalized graphene oxide too. You have got very maximum power density. And we have also developed, sorry, we have also developed 3D porous aerogel materials as air cathodes for for metal air batteries, for example, aluminum air batteries. Aerogels. So as you know, the aerogels are highly porous nanostructured materials. Since its discovery in 1930s, uh, it has very wide applications. Uh, uh, in uh, in a different areas. For example, energy conversion and storage. Here you can see some materials. For example, carbon-based CNT or graphene oxide-based aerogels and boron nitride and amexine and polymers and biopolymers and silicosanides. So amexine is also it's a upcoming material 2D material. Uh, it's also it has also very good applications in as a 2D reinforcing material. So these are the as a picture of applications for aerogels widely used in energy conversion and storage and biomedical applications and catalyst support, which is also very important for our applications like metal air batteries. And it is also widely used in aerospace and aeronautical because of aerogels have high porosity and low density and high mechanical properties. These are some reported graphene-based aerogels, as you can see here. So the strength of a graphene aerogel, and you can also see in the image 3D printed graphene aerogel. And here you can see the graphene aerogel as a used as electrode in lithium coin cells. We have developed the aerogels based on polyvinyl alcohol, gelatin, and polyaniline with silver nanoparticles. So here, the punny and silver nanoparticles we have prepared in situ, and then we cross-linked PB and gelatin with glutaraldehyde solution, um, and after gel formation, it was freeze-dried using lyophilizer. Here you can see the SEM images of aerogels of PVA, gelatin, punny, and silver nanoparticles have different loadings like 7.58% and 15.8%. Here we have also used activated carbon and silver, activated carbon and silver with 7.58% and 15.8%. We have tested this air cathodes in a Swagalak type of cells for aluminum battery applications. Here, these are the typical discharge curves using potentiostatic electrostat equipment. As you can see, the 15.8% of silver, which has shown very high discharge performance, among 7.5, even activated carbon, which are shown very poor discharge performance only because of the porosity. As you can see from you can realize from the SU images. So AG15 has very high porous compared to other aerogels, and these are the calculated capacity values. So we have obtained maximum 628 the values and which is around 50, 50 below 50% of the reported values. Uh, and here the linear polarization curves, as this polarization curves also clearly say the silver 15 weight% nanoparticles showed very high corrosion behavior. These are the impedance curves also support the discharge electrical discharge performance, as 15 weight% silver nanoparticles exhibit the least charge transfer resistance. And presently, at C-MAST, we are developing graphene-related materials like a graphic carbon nitride and graphene oxide, and functionalization with the graphene oxide with epoxy groups. And these 20 nano materials are incorporated into the epoxy resin in order to make the structural and the multifunctional nano composites for aeronautic applications. Here you can see the aerogel, which is prepared with graphic carbon nitride. As you can see, the color, which is yellow, because this color comes from the graphic carbon nitride. And we are also interested in participation in research proposals like national and international calls, and we are open for the collaboration. So, thank you very much for your kind attention.